Many of you have probably seen the movie Us, in which evil clones who have been living underground take over the lives of their above-ground counterparts. This movie makes statements about many things, but it also provides a clear example of the problems with plagiarism. The evil clones look and move like the original people, but they are not the same and only want to take what they have not created. That's exactly what plagiarism is. Taking words or ideas that you didn't work to create or discover, then benefiting from someone else's work while they get nothing. Of course, plagiarism can happen by accident too. It's not always that someone intentionally steals someone else's work. Sometimes a student writer will simply forget to put quotation marks around an exact quote. Or she'll forget to give credit because she didn't take good notes about her sources. So how do you avoid plagiarism if it can happen by accident? Take good notes. Of course, that's easier said than done. To take good notes, you first need to have a clear idea of why you're reading, viewing, or listening to the thing that you're, reading, watching, or listening to. If you're watching this video, chances are you're a college student, and a lot of the things you read and watch are required for class. That doesn't mean you can't have your own purpose for looking at them. As discussed in several other educational videos, you should always preview or scan through any assigned readings, videos, or podcasts to get an idea of what to expect and what you want to know about that topic. Formulate some questions to find answers to as you read, watch, or listen. Then it's much easier to stay focused and take notes on the answers you find as you go. If you're doing research and you know exactly what research question you're trying to answer, then this step is even easier. You can literally press Ctrl F and search online sources for keywords and phrases related to your research question. Once you know what you're interested in, start reading, listening, or watching, and pause to mark or copy down any exact quotes that answer your questions. Also highlight or jot down any interesting tidbits that you weren't looking for, but that seem important or surprising. You never know what you're going to find, and you don't want to miss out on great ideas just because you weren't already seeking them. If you're unsure what interesting tidbits are, they're basically anything that you have a reaction to. Maybe it makes you curious, angry, happy, or sad, or maybe it just makes you stop and think. Write it down. While you're writing down the source's exact words, also write down any information that others would need if they wanted to track down your source for themselves. This kind of citation information includes the name of the authors and publishers, the date the source or article was published, the source's title, and even the page number from the book or the timestamp from the video. You'll need to use all of this information to cite or give credit to your sources. So don't wait until the last minute to collect it. Finally, after you've found the good information, highlighted or copied it, and cited it, you have to put the original author's quote into your own words. That too sounds easy, but there's actually more to it. Putting someone else's ideas into your own words is a two-step process. The first step involves changing the diction or the words that the original author used to reflect how you would say the idea. For this step, it's best to keep things as simple as possible. Remember, your goal is to be clear. Besides, these are your notes for you to understand. Next, you need to change the syntax or the order in which you present the ideas. This step helps make sure you understand what you're saying, literally inside out and backwards and forwards. It also ensures that you use your own unique style and voice instead of imitating someone else's sentence structure. Here's an example. Let's say you're reading a textbook for your English class called So What? The Writer's Argument. The book was written by Kurt Schick and Laura Schubert, two English professors at James Madison University. On page 52 of the second edition of their book, they say that, quote, simply exchanging synonyms does not make the paraphrase appropriate, end quote. Now that sets off alarm bells in your head. You've always thought that all you needed to do was break out a thesaurus, swap a word here and there, and bam, you'd have a decent paraphrase. Now they're telling you that's not enough, and you want to make a note of it. So you start by copying down the quote and the citation info. Then you begin changing out some of the key words. You know, or you find out that synonyms are just words with similar meanings. So you substitute that definition for the word synonyms. Similarly, you decide that you can use swap out instead of exchange. And only instead of simply. You use context clues to figure that appropriate is just another way of saying not plagiarized. Perhaps it could even mean honest. So you come up with a new version that says, if you only swap out words with similar meanings, your work might still be plagiarized. Of course, you add citation information at the end for good practice. That seems straightforward enough, but you also know you need to change the order of the ideas, just to make sure you're using your own style. So you decide to flip the two halves of the sentence and put the part about plagiarism, honesty, or appropriateness at the beginning. Then you'll have the part about synonyms at the end. Flipping a sentence that has two parts like this is one of the easiest ways to change syntax. So when you rearrange the order, you tweak the wording a little bit and you get something like this. You can still get in trouble for plagiarism if all you do is swap out words with similar meanings. And boom, you've paraphrased Chicken Schubert's words appropriately or honestly in your notes. The only thing left to do now is transfer those notes to your paper, when and if the time comes. There are plenty of videos to help you with this process, but here's a quick overview. You may want to use a particular idea from a source in your own writing. Maybe it's because the idea supports something you want to discuss, or maybe it's because it represents one point of view in a larger debate that you want to join. Either way, you only choose the ideas that relate to something you want to talk about. Again, having a clear purpose for reading and writing helps a lot. If you've taken good notes, the rest should be easy. When the time comes to add the idea to your writing, start with an intro or lead-in phrase like, according to X, or A argues that. Make sure to include the source's full name the first time you give them credit for their ideas. You can just use their last name every time after that. Last names are considered more respectful and professional in academic writing. Also make sure your lead-in phrase includes some background or context about who this source is and why they're credible on this topic. In our example, the lead-in is, according to James Madison University English professors Kurt Schick and Laura Schubert. This lead-in gives both of their full names and shows readers that these two sources should know their stuff when it comes to writing. So now readers are set up to pay attention to what they say. After the lead-in, just add the summary or paraphrase that you wrote in your notes. and add any citation info that isn't already in your lead-in phrase. You can check out this video to see what information goes in the actual sentence, but just know that you want to keep it simple for the in-text citation. You don't want your paragraphs crammed full of unnecessary information. The final step of adding a summary or paraphrase to your paper is to comment on the source's ideas or show how what they say relates to what you have to say. Sometimes this step will involve showing why an idea is important. Sometimes it will involve showing how it's different from what other people think. And sometimes it'll be as simple as explaining how what they say proves your point. In this example, this student has decided to explain why the advice matters, and also how the advice is different from what most students learn. Any way you do it, don't forget to use the source's ideas to work for you, not just for the sake of having sources. And that's it. From pre-reading to writing a paper, paraphrasing and summarizing aren't as hard or as easy as they may seem. All it takes is some notebook paper, a pen or pencil, a clear sense of purpose, and good time management. If this video helped, or if you have questions, let me know in the comments.